Okay, so now we're going to go through kneeling setup. So that's something you'll hear fairly often at Sporting Wheelies, is us asking for you to grab us the kneeling setup. So when we talk about that, basically kneeling and or haunches or elbows and knees, 4-point kneeling, all those different words, however you want to describe it, basically we're referring to this setup. So I'll go through the standard features or equipment used in that setup, and then any common variations or additions to that we might use depending on the client, and I'll explain reasons for these changes. Alright, so starting with the standard stuff, I'll be putting it on myself as a client, which is going to be interesting, trying to get in position, but do my best. So yoga block goes between the ankles. Velcro strap keeps the block between the ankles. Alright, so we want that on there nice and firm. As per the blocks and straps video, avoiding skin, avoiding the rough side on the skin. Alright, and there's a couple of different ways you can do that one. So there's those two. Got a half foam roller and this blue guy over here. Alright, so that's the standard stuff. So those 4 things is what you'll be grabbing at a minimum. In addition to that, you can see the red block over there against the wall, so that's just for the trainer to sit on, so they can be behind the client in a position where they can assist safely, and against the wall makes that a nice stable base to start from. If you're trying to do it on the edge of a plinth and nothing behind you, which I've done, it can be quite challenging and potentially put yourself at risk. So creating a nice stable base is definitely encouraged to look after yourself and also the client. So basically I'll jump in position. Obviously the client will be on the plinth or bench. They'll be on their stomach, so in prone, and then you would assist them back up into this position, but for the sake of this video, skipping that step. So basically positioning the feet against this red block. So it's for the trainer to sit on, but it's also doubles as a nice stopper, I guess. So the client doesn't move when you're bringing them up in position. Feet aren't going to slide back, make things trickier, things get out of position. So again, coming back to that main aim of this is basically to assist where needed to maintain good joint alignment, good kinematics, to keep the client safe, not cause injury, but also allow us to achieve whatever it is we're trying to achieve, or what sort of response we want out of the body. So this half foam roller sitting on the ankles, that's to stop too much pressure on the ankle for one, but also the ankle going into excessive plantar flexion, possibly stretching on things that the client may not have the sensation to be able to give you that feedback, that pain response might not be there. So another thing, this blue one, the reason why it's in the standard setup is to bring your hips up a bit higher. So someone sitting right back on their feet may not be able to tell you that that's causing too much stretch on the quads, giving them a pain response. So it's just a safer position to be in. Depending on what you're doing, you may even replace it with something bigger to prop someone right up in that high kneeling position. If that's where you're wanting to spend a lot of your time in the session, that might be why you do that. But for a start, another block in front. So that gives the client something to lean on, to hold on to. You might be doing something where they're on their elbows and using that block to come up into hip extension. That could be changed to a different block of similar size, maybe even a ball, maybe a Swiss ball, depending on the level of the client, what you're trying to achieve or progress to. Different heights. So it's just a good standard one that ticks a lot of boxes. Basically, that is the setup. There also needs to be consideration given to what's happening at the legs. So you might get feet in the right spot, because obviously once that block's in, you can't see what's going on below there if a foot's rolled or whatever. So that's why we've got that block in the middle, keep that in position. This block then keeps everything else sorted, but you might find that when you get in this position, someone's knees are just wanting to sway and they can't control that. So you might use another block and a strap between the knees. You might use a yoga mat, it might be just the frictionless surface. That might help just keep things in alignment. Or their knees might be going in, so you just want a block in there just to keep things tracking in a nice straight line. So yeah, so I'm basically in that haunches position right now. There'll be a trainer behind me, they can spot over my shoulders. I can be working on different balance exercises, or you can bring that block in front, and you can be getting them coming up, working more on that hip extension, those types of things. But yeah, there's a lot more exercise options than that, but that's just a taste, and to get you guys to get your head around what it is that we often use in this setup. Awesome.